Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Episode 68. Enter the lab. Elvis Escobar. Myself. That guy.
Fort Sama.
Yes, sir. Excited about this episode. As we go live on Monday night, we had to make sure we accommodated our guest. Before we have that guest enter the lab, we're going to make sure that we, have a little intro to this episode, just as the link is being sent out to friends and family, so they could join in and watch it, give us feedback or whatever.
I need the little intro. To get right emotionally,
right?
Physically. I'm still recovering from St. Patrick's Day, slowly but surely.
Bro. Yesterday I had depression all day. Look, that after alcohol depression? Like, damn, what did I do?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, I'm going to say this right now, and I don't care. You can debate your barber. You can debate your drunk uncle. You can debate whoever you want. If you're not in Savannah, Georgia on St. Patrick's Day, you're doing it wrong, man. You're doing it wrong, 100%. The only other place would probably be fucking Ireland. But, man, when
New York does it big. New York and I think Boston and Chicago actually have some of the biggest ones.
Man, downtown Savannah was crazy. And the thing is, it's like an older town and it's small. Mm-hmm. So it's just that much more, like, insane. And they usually dye the river green on River Street, but they haven't done it lately. So I didn't get to see that. But, no, man.
Yeah, I was shocked when I seen you FaceTiming me looking all you super festive.
Festive.
Right? Did you have glasses on? I don't know if you have a picture.
I did have some glasses on. I was wearing my UM Dunks. So I was straight. I got to clean them now, though.
Yeah, I can't. That's a bold move, brother. Yeah, it's funny because I thought the same thing. I was going to wear my, white Mocha 3s that my mom got me. Which would have been fitting because it's special to me because she bought them for me. But it's also, I don't want to fuck up the pair too much. So I went with a little, Jordan 11. Checked them the next morning. Not ruined. That's a fucking victory.
Yeah, no, mine aren't ruined. They're just little, water, alcohol, whatever else.
Nothing a straight.
A little dirt. No.
Yeah, alcohol pad or something can.
Yeah. Chicago dyes the river green. Yeah, I seen that.
Oh, I see people are commenting. Good.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining. Oh, Fender Bender back. He took off last week. We still don't know if it's a male or a female. I should actually
don't know. Yeah, he's
check
on
myself
our
on
ass
that.
too. Pause. He said late. That's funny.
I changed the I made sure I changed the time from 8 to 8:10 just for people like them, they.
They.
I'm just sending this out to a couple more people, but yeah, obviously, we'll talk some shop with the guest that enters the lab shortly. We'll have, after they leave, we'll talk about the weekend of whether it's sports, news, and randomness. We got WBC, World Baseball Classic going on, Mexico, Japan. USA's already in the finals.
Shout out Trey Turner, man.
Yes. Well, we'll talk about that later for sure when we're chopping it up. We got, obviously, the UFC is going to be a heavy topic on this podcast. We'll keep the people guessing of who we got on. But also we have NCAA March Madness. Super upset Sweet 16 starts on
I feel
Thursday.
Like every March Madness just gets better and better and better. I don't know if it's just because – I don't know. I really don't know what it is this year, but, I am all with the upsets. And I think it's going to keep getting like that. There's going to be a lot more parity going on with these schools, especially with the NIL stuff.
Yeah, I got a few things to say on that, and I'll probably send you a video later that I want you to play just because that point, the parity of college hoops is it's costing universities and everybody billions and millions of dollars because the cosmic shift in that industry and sport is insane. How quickly it just within 5 years just went from being those quote unquote blue blood top 10 universities in basketball dominating to man, there's no clear cut way to advance in the tournament, which is awesome as fans. I don't have a college I went to, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. No, hey, look, I didn't have a college I went to either, but FAU's doing their thing. And there's a high possibility it's going to be FAU Miami in the final. We can get it all Florida, all South Florida. I'm just throwing it out there. South Florida will be crazy. Boca Raton's going to shut down if FAU makes it to the NCAA championship. I can tell you that.
That'd be wild, right? All right, brother. We have a lot of things. Like I said, this is going to be a fun episode. We'll have a guest join us in a couple of minutes. Thank you guys for joining us live in the feed. Definitely like the episode. Subscribe to us
comment,
if you aren't
subscribe,
already. Please.
We're only like 10 followers away from 1,000 on Instagram, by the way.
Ooh, that's another thing.
So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
And we got 151 followers. We're close to 200. Just pat on the back.
We're pretty low maintenance when it comes for asking about things like that. So it's only a way to help us out. How do you support local business? You buy something. How do you support a podcast or some creativity that your boys are doing? Doesn't cost you shit. Just fucking hit a couple buttons and you're good.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, Fort Sama, introduce our guest that is entering the lab.
Without further ado, see, this guy, man. Me and this guy kind of go back. We've never really been too close or stayed in communication, but he's always done his own thing. I've kind of always done my own thing. And, I mean, I remember doing a job at his house, too, an electrical job with my dad way back in the day. And him and his pops, man, like, when I tell you just, like, the definition of, like, teamwork and loyalty and just wanting everyone to succeed, like, you look up these two people and it's right there. And just motivation 101. If you want to, like, wake up one day and you need someone to motivate your day, just go on these Instagram pages, watch these videos. Because when I was back in high school, I remember them coming out, doing stuff just to keep people fucking moving and healthy and everything. And I'm almost done with the intro. But one of the people I love playing basketball with the most, just because he passes me the ball, I'm thinking about the fucking Ron Artest fucking videos. Like, Kobe passed me the ball. Kobe passed me the ball. So, my guy, Rio Santana from iHPfit. Welcome into the lab, my guy.
What up? I remember actually passing me the ball, I think, like 6 times. Playing
he was like counting down.
Bro, your eyes lit up. You're like, whoa. Brick. I was like, God.
Oh, shit. No.
Thanks for guys having me on. Appreciate it. Watch the show. Love the show. Like what you guys are doing. Love the personalities. It's not too, like, commercialized. And it's not too off the rim where you guys are just like, what the hell are these guys talking about? You guys have a good thing going, and appreciate the invite, fellas.
Hell yeah, man. No, absolutely. I appreciate you taking time. I know you guys got a lot going on. You guys are busy, so anything that you can just come on and help us,
bro,
what we want to do and what we want to accomplish.
Busy is not the word. It's like, I love doing stuff like this because that helps me, like, kind of like calm down a little bit. Because, bro, iHP is like, for this April will be 22 years in business, longest lasting gym in Boca, and family owned. So that's cool as well too. But it's like a machine gun there every single day, man. You don't know what you're gonna walk into. The good thing is it's always positive. There's no BS. There's no bullshit. We make our own rules. We get to choose who we work with. We get to choose who comes on the team and everything. And it's a blessing to be a part of it and just see the growth of it since, I was 10 years old, 11 years old. So, yeah, man, it's not a lot of good people say that. And on top of that, I get to work with Pops. So,
yeah, no, I feel like, man, my dad and I's relationship changed drastically when I left South Florida for the better.
Okay.
For the better. And now, like, every time I go back, like, just being with him and spending as much time as possible with him has like greatly improved my life. Like, I talk to my dad more than I talk to my mom now, which is crazy because I always used to talk to my mom. But the fact that you're able to do that on a daily basis, and I thought when you said that busy is not the word, I thought you were going to say blessing. That's what I thought you were going to go with.
Bro, if like today, it just the people that you get to work with are pretty much your family, right? I see them there more than I see my own family. I'm there. I always tell people when you come to iHP, it's my home. My home is actually my home away from home. I'm
Right.
at iHP every day, bro, and it never feels like work. But when you get to deal with the fighters, the athletes, the moms, the dads, the kids, every walk of life comes in through there, and everybody has their own story. Like I tell people all the time, if you could hear just what the IHP walls could say, you'll get a tissue box ready because you'll hear crazy crap, crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of how I wanted to start this off after, kicking it for a little bit. Kind of just want to know how IHP really got started. What was like the idea behind it? How did it go? Was it something that your dad or you always envisioned? How was that? Because I have like hopes of doing something similar to you as well in the future.
It was pops. I gotta give credit where credit is due. I was 10 years old, 11 years old. So, my dad went from being bro, the story that my dad has, that could be an episode alone. Okay, from being growing up in Cuba, coming down to Miami, dealing with the whole 80s and 70s, and down in Miami, those cocaine cowboy days. That was wild stuff. Like the stuff that you see on Netflix actually happened. I'm not speaking of it, my own personal stuff, but
Yeah.
just saying that everybody has their own little story. And my dad went from there to college, actually went to the U, actually did a couple practices as the fullback and experienced one head-on collision. He goes, you know what? Football is not my thing. I'd rather take punches to the dome than get cracked by a 275-pound linebacker. And he's like, yeah, I'm good. So he always in mixed martial arts and everything, karate, judo, wrestling, boxing, the list goes on and on and on and on. And then a wild turn happened. He was a part of a band, and then he owned a bar, actually where FAU has a bar at, and I think it's called the Night Owl in Boca, right near Fifth Avenue Shops. My dad owned a bar there. And then this big head was born, and he sort of changed his whole lifestyle, was going to school to become a personal trainer. And then one thing led to another where he had a couple partners and said, listen, let's open up a gym. And that was 2001, April. We opened up IHP. Actually, the first picture taken of IHP, if you zoom in on Google, you see my big ass head running with a diaper on. I think a diaper on or some like shorts on. I think I was too old for diapers, so probably some like jorts on. And yeah, that was it. I remember staring across the street when it was dirt on the floor, and he said, hey, son, this is going to be the best gym in South Florida. And then it actually got voted best gym in the nation 11 years running. So the rest is history, bro.
So and that's why I love that we have you on, because you're somebody we followed super early, and we've interacted as two people who run a social media account or a podcast. I always see conversations that Ford's having with you, and sometimes I'll even get into having conversations with people I don't know, but hey, we know if we have a mutual person as a friend, that means we're friends as well.
Oh yeah.
So we followed you for a while, and I'm always intrigued by. I was raised on boxing growing up. MMA and UFC I got into late. My brother got into it super early, probably earlier than most people did in the super early days of John Jones. And I never really paid attention to it, but it's funny, doing this podcast, talking to Ford, becoming more friends with him, it's made me completely appreciate something I've never done before. Well, I've never done boxing before, but that and respect that lifestyle. Because it's not just like a sport you just pick up. No, it's a way of life. Were you somebody that did that early on in your life and then it came, or did the business happen and then you got into it?
No, man, I've always been a part of athletics before I could walk. My dad said, man, I had a quarterback arm at the age of 2. I remember I had a babysitter that was like 5 yards away from me, and I'm sitting in the front yard with a little Nerf football, and I beamed her right in the head. And my dad goes, we got a quarterback on our hands. And then I played soccer, I played basketball, played football, did karate, did judo, did boxing, watched my dad work with Spanish River Wrestling, so got involved with there. But I've always been in athletics. I was never a type of person that's like, I don't want to move today. I was always doing something, always doing something. So yeah, I got into more karate and more judo at a young age because that's what sort of my dad was doing and he was dealing with at the gym. So I was like, oh, those guys look crazy cool, crazy in shape. I want to do it. And then I remember I got tossed. Phew, boom. I was like, maybe I want to do boxing. And got into boxing. And then boom, took a punch to the dome. I was like, maybe I want to go to wrestling. And so I sort of mixed in everything. Again, my dad coming from the combat aspect, I started watching UFC when it was UFC 1 with no rules whatsoever. I remember sitting on my dad's lap. We watched American guy and a huge, I think, African sumo wrestler. He came after this guy, and there was no weight classes. This guy was maybe 185. Sumo guy was plus 300. Guy came right at him, knocked him 220 in the front row. I cried like a little bitch, bro. I was like, no, I don't want to watch this anymore. Let me go back to, let me watch boxing. Let me watch football. Let me watch something else. As a baby, I remember I was like, oh my gosh, this must be fake. And my dad loved it. He was like, yeah, let's go. And that's when UFC was only doing like 2 shows a year, three shows a year. So it was like crazy. My dad was like, make this thing a thing. So I grew up actually watching more UFC than boxing. And then I started working with some of the boxers at Police Athletic League in Boca. Danny knows of that spot. And so I sort of had a healthy balance of both sports. But if you had to ask me, Rio, like, if you had to bet the house on it, what are you more invested in? Oh, UFC, MMA, Bellator, Strikeforce, Pride Days, all that stuff. That's what I grew up watching.
Nice. Yeah, I recently just started getting like way more into it, but I do remember watching like older stuff when it was on like Spike TV or some shit way back in the day. And I mean, there really was no rules. Like you pretty much had to be almost dead for the ref to kind of just like, all right, this is enough. Yeah. So no, that's awesome that you brought that up because like it's not only like has it been great to see like all the changes that it's done with like the rules and everything, like the growth as a sport, it has been like immense. Like whoever invested in UFC and shit is well off right now.
If you guys want to do something like pretty good, I think it may be on like Amazon Prime or UFC Fight Pass, the documentary of how UFC became UFC. And bro, the story on that is second to none.
You said that's on their app, right? They have an app, UFC, right?
Yeah, I think it's UFC Fight Pass. And then if you go to like the library, if you look up maybe UFC documentary.
Yeah, I love shit like that, dude.
Yeah, if you just type it in on Google, UFC documentary, and how UFC got started, the links will pop up left and right. And I think it's one episode. It's about, I think, 2 hours long, an hour and a half long, and it shows you that like they were on the brink. Literally, their one show. I think it was Chuck and Tito. Dana White was managing both of them, and they said, "Man, if this thing, like they said it, like after this is aired, it's done. It's a wrap." And they put a show on for the ages, and then one thing led to another, and then the next breakout stars were Forrest Griffin and the Ultimate Fighter, and that was crazy, and that took it to another level, and then so forth, and then now you're dealing with guys like Conor McGregor, John Jones, Izzy, all these pretty much not even fighters anymore. They're walking ATMs.
100%, and that's beautiful in. Because I'm always fascinated by business, went to school by business, and I'm an entrepreneur now where I'm always fascinated about from the ground level to what it becomes, whether it's $1 million, billion-dollar existence or a business. And you see a lot of these companies, they tend to hyper succeed right before they're about to fail. One of the ones like Apple and Mac and Steve Jobs doing that is one of those that stick out to me, that they were basically on the brink of going down. But as I'm looking at your iHPfit Instagram, going through, some of the people I know, some of the people I don't. It's always a good promotion as you have a lot of followers, 40,000 almost, and you're on our platform, which isn't that big, but for the people, the whoever's listening and watching now or later this week, talk to me about who you have training, because I know as at looking at it now, and we posted the link to go follow, and some of the videos are awesomely produced. Let us know.
They really are, though. You guys, your video stuff is like fire.
I love it. Who do you have training at your gym now? Previously, how did that come about? Like, you could. This is the time I want you to like brag a little bit. It's dope.
Yeah, talk your shit.
Man, I'll give you the short end, but I'll give you the details. So I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with American Top Team down here in South Florida. Okay. My dad and iHP were the original branch of their strength and conditioning. When Thiago Alves got started, Thiago Silva got started, Jeff Munson, Dean Thomas, we were the branch before ATT was ATT. It was just a bunch of guys traveling from gym to gym and working out. And they chose my dad, chose iHP. We had a huge blessing. And we had started with maybe 6 guys turned into 15 turned into 20, 20, and 25. And then, like every other business, every relationship, nothing lasts forever. American Top Team blew into this huge facility. This huge team had a bunch of outbreak stars, and they were the biggest thing in South Florida. I mean, they're still one of the biggest teams, I think now, about 15 years in. They have a huge gym. I mean, it's a college. They have movie. They have everything there. It's insane.
Is that gym literally by FAU? Is it FAU?
No. So they're a little.
They're by a college.
Deerfield. They're a little bit like, I think, Lions and somewhere.
Yeah, they're like near Creek. They're like near Coconut Creek.
Yeah, near Whitewater Port, like in that type of boondock area. That's there.
That place is a campus, dog.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, then never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah, because I think I drove at least by one of their locations recently. It was by in Boca by the executive airport. They probably have another location there.
They have
exactly.
Like American Top Team Boca, American Top Team Atlanta. They have all different types of areas, but the hub, the baby. That's in the Creek area. And then so we sort of stopped a little bit with the fighters. I mean, we might have 1 or 2 or a couple little boxers here, but nothing that was like pay-per-view star power type thing. And during that time, my dad would travel a lot of international travel from China, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, which he's starting to pick up on again now. And one of the areas that actually MMA started blowing up was China. So we had iHP China rocking and rolling. We had Wei Li training before she became the champ and before she was on the map. We had Leach, which we still have at the gym right now. He moved from China to South Florida. And we had a couple other people in China. And so that was like my dad's little MMA location. He's like, hey, I'm cool with it doing it over there. It's not really popping in South Florida. And then from there, the Black Zillions and the Jocko crew sort of came around with Usman, Gilbert Burns, Robbie Lawler, Jay-Z, all these different guys. And my dad teamed up with Vitor Belfort for his Jacare fight a couple years ago, about 7 years ago. And we got him in great shape. And he started introducing us because Vitor is an OG of the sport. He was one of those guys that was in there, and he was a savage, a complete savage. If you haven't seen Vitor's highlight reel, go check it out if you're a UFC or just an MMA fan or just an athletic fan, because the guy was built like a brick shit house. Not saying that he was on or off anything, but Vitor was a savage. And so he introduced us to Cesar Ferreira and then Gilbert Burns. And this was before Gilbert was Gilbert, fighting April 8th. And so we took these 2 guys and we're like, all right, cool. One thing led to another. Cesar started getting some wins. He started referring a couple more people. Gilbert started getting a couple more wins, started knocking people the hell out. I think we went like on a 8-fight win streak. And this guy was made for jiu-jitsu. And I think 6 or 7 out of those were all knockouts and vicious knockouts, like putting people to sleep type, just like, what day is it? And so Gilbert started this whole hype train over at iHP. Man, you're looking strong, doing this, doing that. And the list of fighters that came in through there were just boom, 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 boom. And it just happened over the past 4 or 5 years. And so we had about 10 to 12 people going into COVID, and then the whole COVID bullshit happened. So we sort of just stuck with Gilbert and 1 or 2 guys during that because no one could get a fight. And everybody was scared of the whole COVID thing. So after COVID, MMA blew up. As you guys know, Dana White kept the show going in the Apex, just getting fights left and right, left and right, left and right. And now we're up to about 22 active fighters. Majority of them are in the UFC. I would say about 17 to 18 of them. The other guys are either in Bellator or PFL or coming up the ranks in maybe the Contender Series, not giving away anything that's coming up in the next couple months. So yeah, we have about right now 22 active guys. We have 5 of them fighting April 8th, 4 on the UFC card, 1 on a show out in California, a little local thing. So yeah, I mean, big kudos to Gilbert for help spreading the word. He had the countdown there. You guys have seen that a couple times. Embedded was there, a bunch of podcasts, and just like one thing, it's a snowball effect. You know, the guys that referred, they start getting wins. They start referring to their little group of fighters. So just like this podcast, just like iHP, you start from here, and then you're happy to go there. Then you go there, and then, you know, if everything goes well, which we've both been blessed to do, you find yourself just venturing out into different people and different crowds.
Yeah, so pretty much what you're saying is you go to iHP, you're going to start getting dubs. That's what I got. That's what I got from that.
Hey, listen.
But no, I mean,
we're
it's not a coincidence.
7-2 this year so far. We're 7-2. Granted, one of the losses was, I think, with Leach when that whole Hamza Chimaev thing happened with the weight.
Oh yeah, the card, yeah.
But you know what? Listen, no injuries, no broken bones. To me, in my book, with some of our fighters, that's a big win, just for their family, just for their career. And when you're able to collect, you know, a nice little paycheck, that's always a good, nice win too.
Gotcha.
I'll pause on that just to follow up. I will say getting to know the industry and the business behind, obviously, the training and the fitness, it is highly competitive because as people know, most people know that listen and watch the podcast, huge Joe Rogan fan. I listen to way too much Joe Rogan. But I take that back. I don't listen to enough, and I listen to a lot. But I've learned, that's where I've kind of learned the most, where when he has a UFC fighter on for 2-3 hours at a time, and I'm learning the industry and the behind the scenes of, it gets a little ugly with the American top, like, right? It's not just like, hey, come train with me, I'll win, and then it's like a lot of like this. It's almost like it's an agency. It's an agency. It's a gym. It's a fitness. It's kind of a little sleazy too.
It's a gang. It's a gang, straight up and down. And MMA, and I hope the MMA gods are listening. I hope MMA doesn't turn into boxing. And with all due respect to the boxing, I can't wait for the Ryan Garcia. I can't wait for this weekend's fight with Plant and everything. I watched that countdown today. It should have me putting the gloves back on, hitting the bag and everything. So I'm a huge fan of both sports, but boxing shot themselves in the foot 3 times. Like, it's just they're running out of places to shoot themselves. It's become so politics. I feel like I'm watching CNN when I'm dealing with boxing. You know, I hope MMA doesn't come to that, and I see the evolution of it becoming that, where fighters won't take certain fights because of this, because of the pay, because of location, and they start it becomes a WWE match. It doesn't become even the best of the best fighting. It becomes, well, this guy has 9.8 million followers, and this guy has 20 million followers, and they'll talk each other's crap, and you know generally they like each other, so it's like it's a big ass front, and you'll hear them after the fight. You'll hear everybody, hey, I'm just talking crap to sell the fight. Like, I grew up watching the best fight the best, or just in any sport. Like March Madness coming up, we had a huge upset. 16, I think, beat 1. Hey. Any dog could win any day. I will give you that. But I like to see the best of the best. That's why I love NFL playoffs, because you see those Bills versus Chiefs. You see the freaking I hope the Steelers make the playoffs next year. But you see the Ravens versus Steelers. I mean, you see that, and that's what people tune in to watch. I don't feel like people tune in to watch a WWE match. I feel like they're watching the competitive, the raw nature of two of the best guys go at it. Prime example this weekend, Leon and Usman. If you had to ask 10 people, you had 5 with Usman, 5 with Leon. And guess what we got? An awesome technical fight. And Leon's a freaking champ. He's a man.
I just watched the fight. Literally before we got on, I snapped Fort. I said I wanted to get into your world, right? So it's like I watched the John Jones fight. Didn't last long. That was quick. But I watched the entire illegally streamed because I had to. I watched the entire Usman Edwards fight because we were watching. We were texting me and Fort. I was kind of faded, but got to watch it a little bit more sober. And wow,
yeah.
Number 4? No, like what are we doing?
Hey, I wouldn't be upset with it, but I got one of my dogs in the top 5. I want to see my dog at least make one more run for that title. I love him like a brother. Like brothers do. We bump heads sometimes. We bump heads. It is what it is. But when you're with somebody for 6 years, 15 fights in, you're 12-3 with that person. You want the best for them, and you will do whatever it takes, whether you agree with it or not. You just say, hey, sometimes it's like a kid riding a bike. The kid's gonna fall when they start learning. Right. You let them cut up that knee a little bit, and eventually in a couple of weeks they learn how to ride the damn bike. But I want to see my dog get one more title shot. That's all I want. After that, y'all can run it with tag team UFC. I don't give a shit. Just do my man right.
We're talking about Gilbert, right?
Yes.
Just want to make sure. Okay, cool. Because that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about, man. I love Gilbert Burns. This guy, he'll fight anybody at any time, and that's what you were just saying. You want to see the best of the best. You respect that, and he's just willing to go out there and fight whoever. He just wants to fight.
Yeah.
And I watched that video, 15 minutes in hell, of that workout and training session that y'all set up for him. And bro, I was out of breath just watching that shit. So my question really is, how do you prepare for something like that, for training someone who's been at the top of his division for a long time, has had title shots, and is a 4-time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, like world champion. So this is like a top-level athlete, and it's so awesome to see that someone like you down in Boca, grew up the same place, is training that person. So how does that come about? How does that build up? And, for people that don't really know what it takes.
Believe it or not, when you have such high-level guys like that, it's actually easier than getting the guys down here. Like, for example, I'll stray off the path real quick because you guys will probably ask about this. But the 4 people that we have fighting April 8th in the UFC, Jackie, she's making her UFC debut. She's 7-0, Brazilian BJJ girl, strong as a freaking bull. And she was 125, 130 pounds. Then we got Shai Lan. I don't know if you guys look him up. He's built like Wolverine. He's on our Instagram. He's shredded, and he's a sick wrestler, sick athlete. Then we got Leach. Everybody knows Leach, China's favorite fighter pretty much. He's the only guy that apologizes for being on time to a training session. It's kind of creepy. And then we got Gilbert fighting Mr. 305. So Gilbert now has a threshold to where it's almost in parallel to even try to bring up, because you've done everything with this guy. You've kind of tried to kill him 15 different training camps. So it's actually getting easier and easier, and the training camps keep on getting shorter and shorter. For example, the first 2 years, 3 years we would have with him, we would ask him for 3 months. Really just the first month, get him strong. Then the second month, really start working on that cardio-ish. And then the third month, combined it both, understanding that the weight's going to be coming down, the energy is going to be coming down. He's going to be getting his ass, kicked over a kill cliff in sparring. So we sort of have to balance out. It has to be a yin and a yang effect, right? But now, he's in the high 30s. He's no kid anymore. but he has that grown man strength and that experience at being at that top level for now, say in the 170 division, say top 5, top 10 for the past 3 years. And we trained him for the Usman fight. And if you ask my dad still to this day, he'll say that was the perfect training camp you could have had with an athlete. And everybody saw Gilbert goes in there, clips Usman drops for the first time ever. We're like, the belt's coming back to Boca. Like, get it shined up, put the Brazilian flag around it. We're Gucci. Let's go. And like Usman has, and Usman still is, he's a champ. And he had that champ mentality to say, okay, I took one of his best shots and he had an IQ of a champion that night, and we lost to the better man, hands down. You got to give credit where credit's due. But with Gilbert, now our training camps with him are like at max 8 weeks, especially if you have a performance like you just did with Neil Magny, went in there in 1 minute, unscathed, didn't even break a sweat. I mean, he got more tired from doing the podcast post-fight in Brazil than he did in actually the fight. So, you know, you go in there and you're able to take a little, I guess you could say this is a short notice fight with Masvidal, because by the time he got back home, rested a little bit, got his game plan with Killcliff, we're looking about 8 to 10 weeks. His cardio is always on point. His strength is always on point. He's gotten the knockouts, gotten the submissions, gotten through tough 5-round fights with Tyron Woodley. So his threshold is like, it makes our job much easier. I mean, I don't really need to do anything with him physically. It's the mental clocking in. It's the mental knowing that you're going into a guy's backyard. Yeah, you live in Florida and everything, but everybody knows who they're going to go see in Miami. They're 305. You know who they're going to be tuning in to see. They're going to be tuning in to see Masvidal. They're going to try to see if Masvidal could pull another like Ben Askren flying knee off the first row turnbuckle. Like they want to see that. But, you know, Gilbert just needs to be ready for that pressure of the media, the fight week, the press conference. That gets to a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys. And if you ask Gilbert when it was the whole Usman thing, it was the emotional investment. You're fighting your friend. You're fighting your ex-teammate or current teammate. First pay-per-view, like, championship fight. All the cameras are on you. It takes a lot on people, man. A lot on people. So that's what we try to do the last 4 weeks going into training camp is try to emulate as much as we possibly can in the training for the mental clock and not the physical. The physical, he's in the best shape. That's guaranteed. You could check that box. So it's mentally trying to clock in as best as possible with high caliber guys like that and girls like that of any sport. When you're in the NFL, you're already in shape. You don't need to get in more shape. You're in the NFL. You're in the best of the best. Okay, NBA, you're in the best of the best. You know, you're there for a reason. It's knowing that you're going to be at Madison Square Garden on the road. You're going to be playing this team, X, Y, Z. You know, that's why everybody's excited to see what FAU does in March Madness, where you're on the biggest stage at this little ass schools like that.
Yeah,
amazing.
I know.
So we're like revved up. And sometimes with that type of mentality and with that type of, I guess you could say, I guess you could just say mentality. Sometimes it's a win-win. If FAU goes in there and destroys a team that they're not supposed to, holy shit, the upset of South Florida ever. And if they go in there and lose, okay, FAU was supposed to lose. They weren't supposed to be here. So if I'm FAU, I'm coming out like a pit bull off a leash, bro. I'm taking everybody and anybody I possibly can.
So as I look at, real quick as I look at that matchup, Burns and Masvidal, you know, most people say I am the Enter the Labs Masvidal look-wise, but whatever. Gilbert Burns 36, Masvidal 38.
Yeah.
Am I ignorant to say that?
It's going to be a quick fight, man.
Does it? Yeah, for sure. But it shouldn't be. I feel like for somebody like me that's new and some of our viewers are new to UFC, that would, if you just said a 36-year-old is fighting a 38-year-old, you might go, I don't know about that, right? But then when you put the names to this fight, which Burns is obviously still killing it at an older age and still got that fight in him, and then Masvidal has that, I need to fucking prove myself that I could come back, right? He's coming
like 4 L's in a row.
That's what I mean. So he needs it. He thinks he needs it to end his career and keep it going. I look at that fight and I'm like, Jesus Christ, that could easily be a main event. Obviously, the the main event of this fight is amazing. Adesanya and Pereira, but
yeah,
oh my God, this 305 fight. Let's go.
It's wild. I mean, listen,
This card is crazy.
I'm part Cuban, so like
I am too. Well, all three of us are.
Yeah, I have to hide the Cuban flag that night. I mean, it can't. I'll get
Right,
shot.
of course.
Okay, but it's gonna be tucked in like a corner that no one goes into. It's like, yeah, it stays over there. I'm not wearing no blue. I'm not wearing this shirt. I'm like, okay, I'm neutral side.
That's no, of course.
But it's, put it this way, without being biased, especially you guys know the relationship that I have with Gilbert. It's a win-win for either guy. To be honest with you, Masvidal loses. Okay, 38 years old. Go box Jake Paul. Make a couple mil. Go box.
Right. Yeah.
Go make a couple mil. Do your boxing. Whatever you want to do. Yeah. Gilbert, on the other hand, like you said, 36, and 36 with that division getting more packed with dogs. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. When you make one mistake in that sport, even if it's a win, say Gilbert goes out there and beats Masvidal by split decision, okay? Everybody's going to be like, damn, Gilbert should have ran through him. Like, he's what, a minus 400 favorite, a minus 500 when it came out? He should run through Masvidal. He should just do what he did with Neil Magny. Boom, triangle, see you guys later. I'll be in the stands watching the main event, okay? But if he gets a split and Masvidal says, man, I went in there, I fought a guy that no one wants to fight in the division. That's hands down. That's a guarantee. Okay. And I almost beat him. What does that say about how do you make an argument, again, without me being biased, how do you make an argument that, okay, now Gilbert should be the next second or for a title shot when you had trouble with a guy, with all due respect, love George. If he was fighting anybody else, I'd be rooting for him. Okay. But how do you make an argument that you just had a split decision or you just had a close fight with a 38, 4 L's, 3 L's in a row with George Masvidal? So it's a win-win for both guys. And I'm excited to see it because at the end of the day, I want my guy to win. But it's a history for UFC coming back in Miami. It's great for South Florida. It's great for all gyms MMA-wise in South Florida. And not only that, I want to see what my guy does under the brightest lights. I want to see it. I'm excited for that shit. All of them. Oh, Jackie, Leach, Shaw, and Gilbert. You got the bottom. You got literally the first person on the card, Jackie, 7-0. And I'm telling you this right now. I'll bring it back to Gilbert. You guys want to see a future champ in the women's division. You got to check her out. She is a freaking beast. And it's kind of cool. It's our first local female fighter that we've actually trained at iHP. So it's just opened up a whole other avenue of fighters coming in. So I'm excited to see what Gilbert does, man. Honestly, it's a win-win. And Gilbert needs to go out there, finish this fight in beautiful fashion to get back on that mic. And if I'm him, I'm calling 2 people out. I'm calling Colby and I'm calling Edwards. I'm not dealing with no damn Bilal. I'm not dealing with anyone else.
Let's go.
I fought everybody. Either give me loudmouth Colby, which is a tough fight, okay, for anybody in that division, or give me Edwards. And again, just being biased, you want to send it back to Brazil, you send it back to Brazil, you make it a championship fight, or you put Colby and him in Brazil, where Colby badmouth Brazil, and see the fireworks explode.
Yeah, I'm looking at that division right now, and Usman's not going to fight for a while because he just got back-to-back L's, and he might still be hurt. And, I mean, everyone under Shavkat is not good. or they're still, like, up and coming. Because I'm looking at that, like, Wonder Boy kind of washed now. Luque's lost some bad fights. Masvidal. Yeah. I mean, like, Neil Magny's under Masvidal, and it's like, all right, whatever. We're not worried about that. Everyone that's actually decent is still up and coming. But
so did you guys hear about the matchups for that 170 division that Dana White sort of published?
Yeah. Right? He got Kobe gets the next shot.
Yeah, and then you got Bilal versus Rakhmonov. That's going to be a great fight. You know.
Yeah, that's going to be a really good fight.
Obviously you got the April 8th. That's going to be a big thing. I'm telling you this right now. If Masvidal, which I hope not, Masvidal wins,
he's not winning, bro.
He shoots to the front.
He's not winning, dude.
Hey.
This guy looks so skinny, man. Like I don't know, and just
I wouldn't bet
I don't even think he's worried about it.
But
what were you about to say? Hold on, what was he about to say? You're about to bet what?
I would not bet my house on it.
Oh, okay.
I would not bet this cup I'm drinking out of.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, man. Hey, what got him to the dance was that street fight, George Masvidal, hands, boxing, movement, everything. Yeah. When you step in there with the guy that weighs 170, 180, 190 fight night, it takes a shot by anybody, and your lights go out. Our boy needs to stay laser focused. Like I said, the mental training is huge. Stay laser focused for 15 freaking minutes because it takes one shot to end the night.
Yeah. No, there's no one in that division. When I'm calling it now, once Gilbert gets this win in like a round and a half or less, it's whoever wins between Edwards and Colby. That's the only fight he should take. And like just like seeing how he is as a person and following him on Instagram, if he were to get offered another fight against like, I don't know, maybe the loser of it, he might just take it because he, like I said when we started talking about it, he just wants to fight and he wants to prove himself, but he shouldn't. He's the next title shot once he wins this fight.
And that's another thing, that we're not in the management realm of any athletes. We're the strength and conditioning, but when you develop a relationship with people, they come to you. They ask you certain things. Hey, coach, what do you feel about this? I mean, Gilbert's older than me, and he comes to me about advice. But hey, coach, what do you feel about doing this for this this training? Blah 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 blah. And he looks at my dad like as the guru, like a lot of these guys do. Like my dad, like the genie that comes out of the bottle. Like the last 4 weeks of training camp is just like the secret sauce. And I tell him straight up, I can't say what my dad says because my dad's speaking from 64 years of life, of everything. So it's like, you guys know it, being Hispanic, when grandpa or grandma say something, bro, you better follow that shit through and through. That shit is like,
I'll take my chances.
like a golden nugget. But our thing is just making sure that it's treated fairly, because the thing is this, man, you say take a fight to take a fight, okay, but at what risk?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, 100%.
He wants to stay busy and fight somebody after Masvidal. Okay. So who's he going to fight? He beat Wonderboy. He's not going to fight his best friend Luque. He's not going to fight Neil Magny again. What, are you going to recall the repeat rematch of Chimaev?
Chimaev?
No. For what? Hell no.
Yeah. No. As much as I would love to see that, I don't want to see that though, because I watch that fight at least once every other week. Like that's the most watched fight. I like that shit. Just man,
I was there for that one. I have the bucket list, man. I was there for.
That was in Jacksonville, right?
Jacksonville for the fight of the year. So I can not go Jacksonville for the rest of my life and just be like, oh, where'd you go? I went to the fight of the year in Jacksonville. Oh, who's that? Oh, Gilbert Burns and Chimaev. What?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a banger. Yeah.
This is the
You got the dog?
Hey, the fact that dog was able to, if it was around you the whole time and it remained quiet that whole time, that's pretty good.
No, she's getting antsy. She's like, what the hell is Dad doing in the room?
For so long. Okay, let's once again, we appreciate you for locking in with us. Great feedback on the comments from people, and also I learned so much, and this fucking gets me so hype for not only for April 8th, but also moving forward that we always like to tell people come on back and stuff like that, where hey, you're more than welcome on. And you said it when you came on, it was like it's kind of brings me back, slows things down. We are more than welcome to have you on when big fights, when your people are on. We can have you on for 5, 10, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is, because they deserve all the hype
Oh,
and,
man.
and process that you put into them?
Yeah, it's it's like you definitely don't want to see me fight night. I'm nervous as like a guy on his first date. It's like this. I'm good, guys. And trust me, I have this filled with either whiskey or Patron. It is going down into the water before the fight. So trust me, it's the only way I calm. And in Jacksonville, bro, I was a mess, bro. I was going up and down the aisle, especially when he dropped. I don't care if people could say it was a knockdown, not a knockdown. Especially when Gilbert dropped Chimaev.
Oh man, I was jumping up and down watching that fight.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, man. No, I'm always welcome here. The dog's taken care of, so you don't have to. I don't have
Gotcha.
to be nowhere. Any questions that y'all have, I'm here. But I do appreciate you guys having me on anytime. It's like I call it the barbershop talk. You know, when you go to
right, yeah, absolutely.
Just vibing. You just
that's really what it's felt like. So I kind of want to just jump real quick, before we like get off or whatnot, back into like the gym aspect of it and the business. Kind of just, I saw that video you sent me about the mental health stuff that you guys are working on, where they're scanning your dad's brain. That was like one of the coolest things, and I feel like more gyms and athletic facilities should start like trying to build that into their members or whatnot at some kind of capacity. And the fact that you guys are doing it, it just shows how like forward into the future you guys are looking at what you're going to do. So my question is kind of what classes or programs or anything are you guys looking to expand maybe into the future, into like another facility somewhere, whatever you can say?
Yeah, no, I mean, we got a lot of stuff cooking up. Obviously, the whole MMA thing is blowing up worldwide, but especially at iHP. We teamed up with a company literally right down here in South Florida in Deerfield called FHE Health. You guys can look them up. They're on our profile as well, too. And they are very big into mental health. They work with a lot of first responders. They would work with a lot of guys that are in recovery as well, too. Drugs and alcohol and everything. Because with the brain, you could tell a lot of what a person has gone through, what they're thinking, and how to repair it, how to recover, and also how to work on the performance. So what got our mind going was, wow, you could help with performance. The first thing we thought about were our athletes. We're like, damn, like what can you help? Oh, we could help with patterns. We could help with actually reading stuff. So we're thinking, man, if I could slow the movement down, if I could do this, if I could do that, it's going to help our athletes. And they were so kind enough to sponsor about half a dozen of our fighters in the UFC and not in the UFC, bigger guys, smaller guys, people that have stories and everything. So more will be coming from that over the summer and winter and everything. But they're an awesome company. The story of how it got started was just amazing. And so my dad started with the whole neuro process because he doesn't sleep well. And they said, man, we could help you with your sleep. We could see what in the brain, what departments are not communicating enough to improve that. And they were able to see what side, it's crazy, man. It's what side of the brain has taken punishment, but also what side has the brain ricocheted off of. So if you take a punch on, say, the right side of your body, it's not just the right side. I mean, the right side of your head. It's not just the right side getting the punishment. It's the brain moving over to the left, hitting this wall, and coming back. So the left side starts getting affected now. So they're able to break this whole damn thing down into pretty much helping my dad try to repair his brain and move forward with getting better sleep, getting better recovery, better short-term and long-term, memory. And then helping these guys that get taken blows 3, 4, 5 times a day to the head like it's nothing, help repair it. But we're doing it to actually show them that they don't need, and we're just dealing with the fighters, but that's what we're really known for and what we're specialized in, that they don't need to spar 2 times, 3 times a week to get ready for a fight. It's the punishment to the brain that literally takes these guys out of a fight. I mean, how many big fights have we seen say, oh, this fighter was out of the fight due to injury or due to illness, do this. And they're not even really telling us why they got. Some of them got COVID. Some of them, had broken bones or freak accidents and everything. But a lot of these guys, man, bro, they're not going to be able to make it to 40 or 50, not be able to read a book to their kids. And that's sad to see. So it's what we're trying to do is show them, hey guys, you don't need all this punishment to the freaking dome before you get ready for a fight. You don't. You don't. Work on technique, wear your headgear, stay protected, and then the only time you should be taking punishment to the head, which is never, is the night you're making a freaking paycheck. When Dana White is signing you a $225,000 paycheck, then you know what? Take a shot or two. Go ahead. Go ahead. But it's the accumulation of the sparring. You got to think about it. If somebody has an 8-week camp, okay, they're sparring, most of the time, a fighter spars 2 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday or Wednesday and Friday, whatever. Okay, you go over 8 weeks, that's 16. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a sparring match. It's pretty much the damn fight. These guys go at it like they just said, fuck your mom or something. They go at it crazy. Crap. I've seen it where I'm like, these guys are teammates. Like, what the hell is going on here? And they beat the crap out of him. I've seen people get KO'd in sparring. Like, the guy's not going to be able to make it to the fight and make money to feed his family. So we're trying to tell them, bring that down, focus on the recovery, focus on the health, focus on the technical stuff, and then maybe have 1 or 2 sparring maybe a month to really feel out that fighting process. You know, so it's that's what we're really trying to get at with these guys, because we're fighting one of the oldest cultures is the fighting culture. And you could ask any legit fighter, any legit. I'm not talking about a kid that talks shit on freaking PlayStation or oh yeah, you fight your brother in the backyard. No, I'm talking about a legit fighter. The more they feel like they're punished during training camp, the more they feel like they're ready.
Absolutely, yeah, and that just goes back to the whole mental aspect that you were talking about earlier on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, man, like it's awesome that you guys are doing that, and like we were saying before, I appreciate you wholeheartedly coming on and jumping on and just preaching with us and giving us a breakdown about how everything kind of works and what you got going on. Usually when we're getting ready, like, and whatnot, we do shout outs, we do promotions. I'm not even going to ask you, is there anything that you have? What is it that you have that, or anything that you want to leave our listeners with, words of advice, whatnot, but mostly just shout outs, promotion, stuff that you might have going on with the gym and with anything else?
Man, like Elvis said in the beginning, man, from a entrepreneur side, from a family-owned business side, you know, a couple things. Don't ever forget where you came from, and don't ever forget the people that helped you out. I don't care if it's a bad lesson, a good lesson. A bad lesson, a learning lesson. Don't ever forget to just show people love and appreciate every small relationship. You don't know how big a tree is going to be from the size of the seed. You never know that. It could be that big and it could be freaking huge. Okay, stay true to who you are, man, and just live life right, bro. Don't do no dumb shit. Don't try to be anybody you're not, because eventually that will seep out like it does alcohol after a Friday night. Okay, it seeps out in that sweat when you go into the gym. Everybody can
or a Monday night. You know, I gotta make sure I'm balanced on this podcast. You know,
I feel you. You guys thought it was water in here. No, I'm just messing. It is water. It is water. Okay.
Hey, your dad might be watching you.
Yeah, no, man. But just show support to the shows, to the podcast. Go like, go share. It only takes a couple seconds. A thumbs up in the comment section.
Yes, sir.
And always give man honest feedback, bro. That's just straight up. Don't be a yes man. Don't be, oh yeah, it was great, man. If you feel like your friend could be in a better position, be honest with them. Like I always tell people, listen, you always have that one friend that has something in their tooth, and you let that shit right out all day. You're a fucked up friend. I'm
that guy that always tells them.
You know, hey man, you got a little something in your tooth. I don't know if it's from her last night or you ate something bad. I don't know.
Hey, I always let Fort know when he needs a haircut. Yo, bro, really you're overdue.
I will ask you guys on a serious note. What the hell do y'all do to get those beards?
Ooh.
Like, bro, I have the Wolverine shit going. I make
you're right. It's like it's not connecting here. I got you.
Nothing.
All right.
It's like bad Wi-Fi right here. Great Wi-Fi right here. But I mean, I try to make it work. I stay shredded. They're like, yo, bro, I got the Wolverine thing going for Halloween.
Hey.
They're like, dude, it's February. I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. It's a work in progress. Okay?
The only advice I could give you is either you have it or you don't. You might not have my beard, but I'm sure there's a lot more things that you have that I want to have as far as what we discussed on this podcast. So, bro,
I appreciate it. I appreciate
shit, if beard is what you're like, I need it, you and your pops got it going on. So I respect everything about you just for meeting you right now on this episode. So if the beard is the last thing that is the Infinity Stone, hey, calm down.
I got the hair. I got everything else. I'm good. My parents did a great job with it. You know what I
mean?
Danny could testify for this. I've had big calves my whole damn life. I never worked them out. I do legs almost every other day, but I never did calf moves. And I got babies back here. Okay, it's just like you said, you either got it or you don't. And
exactly,
I ain't got it, you know.
That's something I don't got. So there you go. We're even.
But hey, let me ask you guys this real quick, since we're talking about April 8th. What y'all have in the main event? No bullshit.
Go ahead for it.
Damn. All right, bro. I know my brother's probably listening right now. I am gonna say Adesanya takes his shit back. I feel like he overcomes the boogeyman or his boogeyman and just gets it done, and no better place than in South Florida, no better place than in Miami. And hey, he was winning 4.5 rounds, and a lot of champions have lost their belts in the last 6 to 8 months recently in the last few rounds and stuff like that. So I think Izzy, he just has that mental, and he has the whole package, where Pereira is a kickboxer. And I think Izzy learned from that last fight, and I think he's going to get it back.
These motherfuckers are built the same way. 6'4", 6'4".
They literally
184.
are.
They're
literally like a mirror image. It's a
Spider-Man pointing at each other.
Bro, go look up Pereira when he's off camp.
He's just 230. Yes, yeah, which is another reason why I think he just needs to move up. Him cutting like 50 pounds like that.
I would be happy to see him and Chimaev go at it at 185. I would pay to see that.
Absolutely.
I'll pay to see it.
I'm going to take Pereira, but I want Adesanya only to make things – I like to make things interesting. You know what I mean? Because you guys are totally in it.
Their first fight was his wedding night. And I'm sitting in the living room watching the fight instead of dancing on the floor for his wedding.
Dude, we cut the wedding short for that fight. Literally. Our wedding was like a Airbnb, a big nice house. So it was 11:30, 12, whatever it was. The wedding didn't exist after that. Everybody locked into the living room. My nephew, I think, was still awake. Fort put him in a chokehold. He's like 6 years old. So it was a good time. So I can't wait to watch the second one of that, because, like I said, they're two people that are where do they go? Back to kickboxing, right?
Yeah, I mean, Izzy's lost the past 2 fights
3 times.
I would say 2 by the same freaking way, bro. The same way, winning the fight, piecing Alex up. I mean, we saw it in the UFC. Alex got wobbled mid-round, boom, and then got saved by the bell. We're like, oh shit, here it goes. And then he just locked into that. Yeah,
we were wilding.
Deadly stare that he does, which I think personally, off topic, I think he has the coldest walkout in UFC history, where he just stares at you like half a mile away and then does the whole bow and arrow thing and then yells. But that shit gives me goosebumps every single time I see it. Dope. I'm just glad I'm not just across their octagon from him, because I piss myself and shit at the same time. There's not a lot of people that are like, oh, yeah, I'm whatever, it's cool. But him?
It's nothing.
Hell no.
Love it. So, for everybody, wrapping up, Rio Santana, go follow him on Instagram, iHPfit. Love it. Your pops followed us as we're going live, and hopefully we have you back on, whether that's hyping up more fighters that you have going on main cards or whatever it is, because quality conversations with you, dude. You're awesome. Take it away from
me. Yeah, man. I like I said, man, appreciate it. You guys are doing your thing. Super, super happy for you guys. Just on a personal note with Danny, super proud of you, bro. You've been doing your thing. You've been holding court. Still got the same face from freaking high school. I don't know how the hell you do that shit, bro. But the
He's
beard
got a little uglier, I'm sure.
I got you there. And
I'll take it, man. I'll be 30 this year, so.
Damn, I'm 32. What the fuck are you complaining about? Shut up.
Oh shit! All right. We 30 gang in here.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, no, I'm always game. You never have to ask. Just tell me a time and a place.
Appreciate it.
And I'm not gonna say it. I'll let y'all figure it out. But there's some big news that we got cooking up and will be revealed probably May for a June card for UFC. So
Hey, any post you make, you just tag us on the bottom right.
Make it as small possible.
Yeah, it could be small box. We'll share it.
Post.
I appreciate it, fellas. Have a good night. All right.
All right.
Yes,
Rio,
sir. You
my
too.
guy. Thank you.
Please.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys.
Yeah, that was good.
Yes, amazing. I love having new guests, and every time we have a guest on, it's always something new. It's always something fresh that when people ask us all the time, like that don't ever listen to us or
never
don't know
forced.
about us. Yeah, that's first and foremost with our. I think what we want to do as a podcast is question answer. It's not an interview. It's a conversation. It might start off as question answer, but when you have somebody like him that is so personable, gets it, and also he has a great fucking background in life, raised right. Personably, business wise, so he just gets it. So thank you for coming on again, and we'll try to do our best job promoting this because I'm hyped about that April 8th. You're not coming down then, right?
I'm gonna try to. It's still in the works, but I have the PTO request set in, so
you have the draft. So all you gotta do is hit
drafts are saved up. It's in the works. I'm trying to figure some last things out. Hopefully, I can make it.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%. But man, we just keep getting better and better, bro.
I mean,
it's wild.
I know.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna toot my own horn or light flex or brag, but
it's fun.
We're definitely better than Mean Girls on fucking Barstool Sports. Dog, I don't know what that is, man.
Quality is down these days.
Dude, that is
Quality
the
is
worst
down
thing I
these days.
see. That is the worst thing I see on my
Come
Instagram
on.
feed throughout my week. Like, I've come to the conclusion that they're just trying to be as bad as possible.
No, you know what it is with social media, bro? Good or / quality, which is too horrible words to describe anything. It's just sometimes it don't work. Sometimes bad and awkward and cringe is usually the one that's like, there you go. That will get the views.
This is what they want though. But listen, they talked about not washing their hands after using the bathroom.
I think did you send that to me? I see that.
Yes.
You be following these things and they pop up on my algorithm.
Bro, listen. It's
can't
one
get away
thing.
from it.
All right. This is gonna sound mad, whatever, in 2023, whatever. But as a man, to not wash your hands, it's not fine. It's not fine, but it's more acceptable than as a woman not to wash your hands. Because as a man, you could just stand there and let your dick do its thing. You don't even have to touch
I thought
it.
you were talking about poop. I gotta wash my hands.
No, poop. If you poop, you gotta wash your hands. If you take a shit and you don't wash your hands, like, I don't know what you got going on, bro. Like, you need to reevaluate whatever you have
After
going
poop?
on. But
I have a lot to say, but I won't because I don't want to embarrass myself today.
As a male, it's acceptable, and maybe because like I said, you could just stand there and do whatever. But as a female, you kind of have to wipe down there after you piss.
Allegedly.
Right? I wouldn't know because I don't have one. And now I'm probably just going to get clickbaited as male talking about women fucking private parts.
Yeah, we had a good episode. Let's not get this taken off YouTube. Let's not get this taken off YouTube, all right?
All right, yeah. Let's switch the topic. I don't know what Barstool sucks.
Let's scale it back. We'll do 10 maybe 10 minutes of just answer the lab talk. Tomorrow I'm leaving for New York, so I'm going to edit this podcast, try to do some timelines, get that put out audio tonight so you guys have it, because my flight's my flight's at like 8 p.m., but 8 a.m., but I don't want to have to do anything. I'm going to the Nets game tomorrow night, so Nets Cavs.
Tomorrow night?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Tuesday night. That'll be fun.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nets Cavs, that's a good game.
Nets Cavs, yeah, quality. We're not going to catch up to them in the standings, but now we're like 5-6 games out. But to maintain in the non-play-in game, where y'all are right behind us by 1 game.
We suck.
Every game matters here on out, because I don't want to play in a play-in game. That's not fun.
Yeah,
at least if I could watch a playoff game, it's like, all right, at least I get 4 games of watching my team. Play-in game, it could be grand opening, grand closing.
I don't think the play-in game should be counted as a playoff game, but that's just me.
Yeah, you have to, though, because just the way it is.
World Baseball Classic going down.
Yeah, let's run it down. Go ahead.
Cuba
Speak your
took
thoughts
that fat L. Cuba took that fat L to the greatest country on earth, the USA, America. No, definitely. I was rooting for USA to win, bruh.
Nah, I know you were hyped. I was like, I'm not watching. I'm a communist, right? It's like, I'm sorry.
Hey, but look, no, to see if I'm not gonna get into it. Why I was posting that and how I feel. If you really care, you could DM me and ask me. But it's just propaganda. It's that whole team is just propaganda, and it's whack. So I was very happy to see that. I am impressed with how the U.S. is playing, though. I know they won 6 years ago, but the way they came back against Mexico and how they played yesterday.
Mexico's up right now 3-0 in Japan. That's huge.
Yeah, hey, look.
They were in the same group.
Right, yeah. I really want to see USA-Japan just because that's probably how it's the 2 powerhouses, and Otani and Trout would be a really good story. But I don't know, man. Like, the U.S. has some talent, and it's kind of shifted in the past few years where, like, everyone in baseball, the really good athletes were from foreign countries, and they still are. But to see the U.S. come up like that in the last few years, it's good to see. So I'm excited, and I hope that helps MLB. I hope that helps baseball and its popularity and boost it a little bit, because if the USA wins, that means we're doing something right, and hopefully more people can watch baseball.
100%. I think all those people that are like a freak accident, like what's his name, Diaz? That hurt himself. Relief pitcher.
In
for the Mets closure.
Oh, in the tournament? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I understand he's celebrating, and then Altuve got hit on the hands. But you have to understand, what are you doing? What are you going to do, compare? So that means everybody that also got hurt, Edwin Diaz, yeah, thank you, Fender Bender. And that means everybody in spring training that gets hurt, oh, it's okay if you got hurt because you were playing in the spring. No. You're playing baseball. They're getting ready for the regular season just like the other people are. It doesn't matter. You can't when something happens in life, you can't say that wouldn't have happened if you would have done it somewhere else. I don't agree with that.
Differently. Yeah. No,
it's life. It's unpredictable. If you would have said Edwin Diaz gets hurt celebrating a win within 5 seconds of winning, you'd be like, that sounds obscene. Yeah, because it's a freak fucking accident. So I'm not with those people that be like, abolish the WBC. What are you wanting to do? Abolish the Kevin Durant playing in the Olympics if he gets hurt? No. Everybody wants to see it. But because
just
it's
like how George fucking snapped his fucking leg playing in the fucking Olympic.
Snapped his fucking leg. And then they moved the hoop back since, so that was actually a great thing. Sorry, Paul George, you had to be a scapegoat for that, but like that hoop was way too close to the line. Dude, it happens. It's fucking sports. It's not predictable. You're not in a bubble. Things are gonna happen. Let these players play, and that's when you see the best of the best, is when players are playing unafraid, for whether it's a WBC. You mean to say playing for the Yankees in a 1 p.m. game versus the Pittsburgh Pirates is more meaningful of an AB? What are you fucking saying? Yeah, if he gets hurt in the WBC, you'd be like, oh, see what? Are you kidding me?
That's just like if a player gets hurt in the All-Star game. It's like, okay, what, you going to get rid of the All-Star game?
Thank you.
No.
And you're not. You have to have these things.
They asked some of these players what's more meaningful to them.
Well, the Dominican Republic said mostly that. That was all of them, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, again, it goes back to Spanish people pretty much running baseball, and the islands running baseball. Nice. So, like, and they asked some of the players that have actually won World Series, and they felt the same way. So, I mean, it's just because it's going both ways now. We're getting a lot of positive from the WBC, so obviously they got to find something to balance it out and say, oh, why it's not so great. And it's been in Miami, too, which is fucking amazing.
Lit, right? And I haven't gone to a game.
Which is why I wish the Marlins were fucking good. Because if the Marlins were good, they'd sell out every fucking night.
Maximilian says what I say to most people. But if you run across the street, you have a better chance of getting hit than you have walking. I understand. All right. My reference to this or that is how many people have fear of flying. I'm going on a flight tomorrow.
A lot of people.
Do you know when I... Okay, this is so crazy. When I go on every flight, I don't have a fear of flying, but when I go on a flight, I tell myself I'm probably dying. I don't know. There's this psychopath in me where it's like, I'll probably die on this flight. So I almost accept something that's out of my control, meaning, but guess what? You have a better chance of dying going to the airport in a vehicle than you do dying on a flight. So what the fuck are we talking about?
Right.
So that's why it's all like, get the fuck outside of your own fucking brain for a second. There's, in the lifetime of you living 100 years, there is so much better of a chance of you dying in a car, driving to Publix that is a mile away, than dying on a flight. Get over yourself. Stop being a bitch. I hate people like that. Sorry.
Hate's a strong word.
So
man.
Tomorrow at 7:55 a.m., I'm going to have a thought of, I might die on this thing. But guess what? I ain't got no control. So let me put on my Netflix.
You got something downloaded already?
Yeah, of course, dog. I downloaded Wu-Tang on Hulu. I have a couple episodes because I'm behind that. I downloaded How to Become... How to Become a Tyrant.
Of course you did.
Yeah, of course. Sorry to say, I'm obsessed with like
you and socialism, huh?
How to Become a Tyrant. I'm obsessed with Hitler, all those, totalitarianism, all that shit. I'm obsessed by the fact that that one human being could just be like, nah, how you think is gonna be how I think, and it like happened. So I'm obsessed with that. I downloaded that. I have a Real Madrid on Apple TV doc about their last season that I'm going to watch. So I like to download like 3 or 4 different types because when I get on a flight, I don't know what I'm going to be in the mood for. So I think I'm in the mood for a movie, but then I'm like, nah, I just want to watch a funny show.
So speaking, all right, real quick. My boy just sent me this tweet. It's a Ron DeSantis tweet. And he said the Cuban government tried to use the World Baseball Classic for propaganda. They still lost 14-2 to the USA. Freedom wins again. Yo, this is funny, bro. Hey, did you finish Last of Us? See Max talking about Last of Us. Did you finish it? Okay, what'd you think?
Okay, good ending. It's weird to end a series on 9 episodes and not 10.
Yes.
Not because of the number, well, because of the number.
Like, no.
I thought there was going to be one more. Because usually series are 7 or 8 or 10. It's like weird to end it on 9.
9, yeah. Absolutely.
But it was good. I like the way it ended because obviously nigga capping. That lie's gonna catch up to him.
Yeah, it is. But like, because I played the game, and funny enough, when I put the CD in to the game in my PlayStation 4, yeah, I don't have a PlayStation 5. I'm broke, okay? And I'm not buying one until my shit break. I've had my shit for almost 4 years, and it's been just fine. Leave me the fuck alone.
Huh?
It was funny because it was right. It started off the game. I had left off where I stopped watching the last night, like the night before I put the game on. And I'm kind of like going episode with the game and what's happening, and I just don't like that they made him snap like that.
Oh, that
at the
stone
end.
Cold. Hey,
Like,
we're good.
They made him look. They made him look crazy, bro.
Do you know why I like that? Is because in so many movies and shows I watch, the good guy always has to remain good, and I love that a good guy, because he's good, in more ways than one, just in a situation said, "Fuck it, I'm choosing not to be good in this situation because I'm gonna do what I want." And I thought, as a respect as a writer, because my all-time goal in life is to write a series, a show, a movie. That's my all-time goal.
You're kind of doing it with this.
That is true. It's helping me, basically. But I love that. Almost when I watched it, I said the same thing. Like, ooh, I said the brain. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, cold. But I was like, dude,
yo, this dude going off.
How many shows do you see or movies a good guy do that? It's not often. And I love that because guess what? It's not a normal fucking show. It's back is against the wall. You care about one human, and that human is about to die. So you're about to do something that's uncharacteristic, and you don't care what the result is because there is no consequences to.
Yeah.
It's the end of the world, basically. You're not gonna get arrested. You're gonna get killed regardless.
Yeah.
I love that. Dude, I love writing so much where I'm almost obsessed with it, and I'm almost like a nerd about it, where like I dissect writing in shows and movies almost too much, where I can't watch a poorly written show or movie.
Have you seen that movie that we talked about last week that won a bunch of awards? What was it called? Everywhere, Everything, All at Once.
You watch it?
I did not, but I got a text message from Dre Day the next day saying that we got to watch it. And now I listened to Ben Baller podcast today, and he was talking about it. So
I say it, you don't watch it. Two other people say it, you want to watch it. Bet.
No, I thought you said you hadn't watched it last week.
I think I watched it. Do you know after that movie ended, I watched it with Bree, Mo, and TT. After that, no,
you did say that, yeah.
I would say halfway through, yeah. Halfway through the movie, I said, "This is fucking amazing." When the movie ended, I go, "I don't know what I just watched because it's so complex, but I know that was an amazing fucking." You know what I mean? Like it was so
I recall.
all over the place, but like when you watch it, you go, "I can't even think of creating 5 minutes of that movie." And that movie was on for like 2.5 hours. I was like, this is incredible. Whoever created this and thought about this is a brilliant mind. What else we got? Let's wrap up.
John Wick coming out. John Wick.
Yeah. It's coming out when I'm in New York. Maybe I'll watch it in New York.
I got to watch that. Definitely got to watch that in theaters.
We talked about March Madness briefly. I don't want to get into sports if we just talked about movies.
Plus,
but
we got another few weeks of that anyway, so we can.
Yeah, of course. We'll probably have a more conversation on next Sunday when the Sweet 16 is done. But FAU shout out Fairleigh Dickinson. So three.
Yeah,
let me read this. Three. So the three teams to upset huge upsets. 2022, 15 seed St. Peter's upsets Kentucky, New Jersey.
Yeah.
2023, 15 seed Princeton
upsets
Arizona.
They had a run.
They did. St. Peter's for sure. Did they make it Elite Eight? I believe they did.
something like that.
Yeah. 2023 16 seed FDU upsets Purdue. It's a Jersey thing, baby. I don't rep Jersey. Jersey stinks. I'm going to land in New Jersey.
A 16 seed beat Virginia a few years ago, right?
What?
A 16 seed beat Virginia a few years ago. You were just talking about this tournament, though?
No, it just highlighted like the New Jersey teams that have beaten big time. So I think out of the last 6 huge upsets, 3 of them are from New Jersey. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no, that's fire. Yeah, no, parody has definitely helped.
Parody.
I got a few shout outs. I don't know what you got going on. UMBC.
Before shout outs, Rodgers still needs to go to the Jets. Cowboys and Eagles making major changes. Fuck them.
Fuck that.
Giants got Waller. Giants are balling.
Moves. Houston's making moves. Chicago making moves. Panthers making moves.
Panthers
Dolphins
are not
making moves.
I like what the Panthers are doing. Panthers are a bad team, but making great decisions. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing what an NBA team would do if they're like
what
the
OKC
Hornets. Like, all right, you're a losing team, but you're like, holy shit, if we sign this, draft well, all of a sudden we're back in it. And I love that because that division.
Especially in that division.
Is wide open. Exactly. I like what the Panthers are doing.
They almost won the division. They're still bad, but they almost won the division.
That division, I think historically, last 8 years have been. I think there was a time where there was like six straight years where nobody won it back to back, or there was 4 years where everybody won it each time. So it's unpredictable. The Giants are doing well in their signings and trades and stuff like that. I love the new regime for the Giants, but let's do shout-outs. You do shout-outs, and we wrap it up. I got to edit this podcast.
So, I mean, before I get into it, I want to say shout-out to Rio once again for hopping on and breaking a lot of stuff down with us and just kicking it with us for a little while. That was really awesome. I love that. He's definitely going to be back on, and whenever we do, we might even get on some lives with him on Instagram or whatever before UFC fights and kind of shit like that. But pretty much the only shout out I got right now for this week, besides everything else that we shouted down, I'm trying to find South Florida people that I know or have networked with or interacted with the past few years that are kind of doing their own thing, which is why I wanted to have Rio on, which is why I've shouted out Dan and the Locks business, Locks Plus, and my boy Didi with Nick's Pizza in Deerfield, all that stuff, man. Just go get you some pizza. You own a business, you need something done with locks, hit up Dan, Locks Plus, all that shit. But my boy Stilo Del Rey, man, this dude is just, he kills it with bathrooms and any like art deco stuff he's got going on. Pretty much he specializes in curbless bathrooms, organic business through word of mouth. He doesn't do ads. He just loves what he does and improves from job to job. He works with the little man. I asked him what he's got going on. Just break it down for me. And that's what I've been doing. He works with the little man to get them going. Kind of what we're doing as well, Said fuck big companies. They already have a monopoly. So, he's trying to do his own thing. Just follow him on Instagram. Follow his page, his Instagram for his business. I sent him that stuff. And I'll tell you right now what it is. Of course, he don't got it in his damn fucking bio. I think it's like Paris Deco LLC, I believe. We'll tag it and do all that kind of stuff. But if you just bought a house or you need your bathroom done or anything like that, hit him up. He's gonna do some good stuff. Follow him on Instagram first so you can see the work that he does. But he's just mad dedicated. So that's what's up. That's what I got, man.
All right, brother. Shout outs for me. Shout out my nephew Sebastian. He's turning 1 on Thursday. I'll be in New York for his birthday. Going tomorrow, Tuesday. That'll be special. I've spent every, being in South Florida, I've, connecting with my nephews, whatever is important to me because my other nephew, Lucas, is going to turn 7 this year, and I've been to every single birthday of his that I would never imagine that I would be. And Sebastian, I'm going to be in town for his first birthday. It means a lot. So I'm like, I'm a decent uncle at the end of the day. So like,
you're a great uncle.
Thanks, man. I can't say that for my uncle. I can't say that for my uncles. But that's what's important is sometimes you either.
Why'd your uncles catch you straight like that?
No, all strays. Because what I'm trying to say is like a lot of people have the impression that just because you were treated some type of way or life was a certain way for you, you got to repeat that, and that's not true. Like grow the fuck up and be a better person or do better every single time. So I could easily said like, oh, I live in Florida, I can't get to every birthday or situation.
Facts, that's true.
And I'm talking about uncles that lived 3 miles away from me.
Down the street?
You know what I mean? So, fuck that. Whatever. Crazy. Just be better. Shout out Broward Vintage, Ben. He's moving into a new crib in Coconut Creek. Big time. He's getting married in June. He listens to the podcast every single week. We're business partners at this point. So, we do business together with his Broward Vintage on eBay. Selling vintage merch and all that. So that's all I got on my end, brother.
I got one last thing.
Go ahead.
Just some, little words of wisdom, something that I've been picking up from, life and just doing this podcast with you over the last, I don't know what's going on 2 years now, right? With utility players where that was...
Yeah. Well,
yeah, we're over 100 episodes.
We're on 2 years. We're on
over
our
100
third year
episodes.
doing a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we're over 100 episodes deep now with podcasts. Actually, we did 39, 68. Yeah, we're 100 deep. If you're trying to like make something for yourself, like a podcast or a business, whether you want to start it up on Instagram or just a page for anything that you're passionate in at this point, do that shit. Don't worry about what people that know you or are going to think, because I guarantee you the people that are going to support you the most and the people that are going to fuck with you the most and people that are going to repost you and subscribe and do whatever are people you don't know and don't know you.
Right.
That's how the internet is, and it's fucking great to see. And it's also sad to see at the same time, because you're like, damn, I thought I knew someone, or I thought like whatever about this person, and you got to take that in a positive way and just like make sure that the people that are fucking with you, you make time for them and distance yourself. And this is just past the fucking internet now, and whatever you're doing, that's just some real life shit. You can say no to people. You can say something that you don't want to go to or you don't feel like going. Like, just fucking worry about you at the end of the day. Yeah, your family, your brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever you got going on, and really close friends and whatnot, but just do that shit. Don't worry about it. And I've fucking witnessed that firsthand with the podcast, and I'm glad we did this, and I'm glad we started doing this and have kept consistent with it, because now some of those people that have fucked with us, like, now I want to meet those people and build with them and continue growing with them as well. So
shout out you, DJ Kuzmo. I'm hitting you up this week.
Hey, that boy DJ Kuzmo. DJ Kuzmo.
Let's hang out.
Yeah, that'll be tight, bro. Do it. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, shout out Ashley Mann too, that logged into the lab.
She did.
Hopefully she's coming over. Hopefully she's coming over for WrestleMania weekend when I get back from New York. So that's another connection. Purely podcast. Don't know her other than podcasting. So hopefully we get to hang out. Hopefully I'll be hosting her at the crib. So that's awesome.
Yeah, just do that shit, bro. Don't worry about it, and just be consistent. That's the only two things I got with you. Don't worry about what people say and be consistent, because that's also helped us a lot too.
All right, brother. Episode 68. We appreciate Rio again. iHPfitness.
iHP Fitness.
Oh, iHP
Fitness. Episode 69 next week. 69.
Great guest. We're gonna we went a long time without having a guest, but I'm glad we didn't, because we didn't force it. We didn't have a guest on just because,
to have
you know what
one,
I mean?
Yeah.
So there was times where we could have had one on easily. But I think it was in our best interest not to just have one just to think we needed one. We're going to try to do our best effort to continue to have guests because it changes things up. It gets us more creative and everything. But, that was a great episode.
Gets the people going.
Episode 68, Elvis Escobar, Fort Sama, enter the lab, exit the lab. Everything will be posted in 2 hours. So you guys can enjoy on audio and YouTube with timestamps. Peace.